Lionfish have this mystique about them in the fact that it's beautiful, it's venomous, but the true danger with them is the fact that they're consuming all these little fish that they're not supposed to be consuming. Lionfish is a fish that usually lives in the Indo-Pacific, but has actually been introduced into the Atlantic and is causing major problems for fish populations. Pandora's box has already been opened. They're here to stay. There are certain species of fish that will probably disappear because of lionfish. The only thing that really is going to keep lionfish in check in the Atlantic is going to be human activity. We've got this problem fish, let's eat them. So I'm going to show you on the chart where we're going to go. So right now here you have Bermuda, you got the reef platform here, but that reef line is what protects us from being battered from storms, winds and waves. We're going to try and get up into the lee of the island, jump in, grab some lionfish. We'll clean the fish and then bring them back into St. George's into Wahoos and catch up with Alfred. A lionfish originally from the Indo-Pacific, but a lot of the evidence points to the pet shop trade. Little Billy's too big for his tank, oh, we'll just let one go, it doesn't seem like to be a problem. That happens a few times and bang, you got a breeding population. Lionfish are spawning very quickly. They're starting to spawn at about 6 months to a year old, whereas it takes 3 to 5 years for those native species to get to the size and age they're able to spawn. And also they're dumping about 30,000 eggs 1 to 2 times a month. Lionfish don't really seem to have many predators. They have no fear and understand that they've got this venom to protect themselves. In the Atlantic, we've got what's called prey naivety and the fact that our juvenile fish have never seen lionfish and don't see them as a threat. Our small fish actually see them as potentially something to hide next to. Because they're growing so fast, because they're spawning so fast, because they're eating so much, it is a nightmare fish for the Atlantic.
Education is key, and then the more people know about this problem, and obviously are comfortable in the water, the more we can have people tackling and dealing with this. Quay teaches the permit course, so he thankfully has really introduced this idea of going and tackling this problem to so many people.
An estimate of probably about 500 students that we've had through the program while I've been there. And in the month of December, we caught about 800 fish.
I actually grew up in that house right there. The little white one with the wall in front of it, right on the water with the trees sort of hiding it. My mom still lives there. Bermuda is basically made up of limestone, of dead coral. So lionfish, basically they're out competing the native species that are on the reef. That healthy reef line protects us from storms. It breaks down some of the wave action and things like that. So if we lose the grazers, the coral won't grow, the reef dies. If we lose the reef system here, it's going to be devastating for the island. So one of the conditions of the lionfish culling license is that they got to display this flag. And it's basically red with the white line through it, the classic dive flag, but it's got the emblem of the lionfish on it as well, just to show anybody that, hey, this dive operation is going for lionfish. So there are divers here with spears, just to beware. So we'll just display that so that everybody can see what we're up to. Because Bermuda's fisheries laws are quite strict, we ended up creating a permitting program with a special license to be able to deal with just lionfish with particular gear. Quay, he's the main lionfish culler, and he's actually got the license to be able to sell lionfish to the restaurants.
In Bermuda, we have a regulation standard size spear that we're allowed to use. It's a 5-foot maximum, and that's including spear tip. So we also have a regulation spear tip, which is a 3-prong paralyzer tip. To use the pole spear, what we do is you wrap your thumb in the band and you just reach down the spear 3/4 of the way down, and all you're going to do is let go of that spear and it will impale the lionfish. So once it penetrates the fish, what this little device on the spear tip does is slides down and creates the spear tips to open up a little bit more, so that way the lionfish can't get off the spear. And also we have barbed tips which help a little bit from allowing that fish to slide up on the spear tip as well.
You have to be a licensed fisherman to be able to sell fish. So there was a caveat made for the licensed lionfish guys to be able to sell that lionfish to the restaurant, and the fact that that's all they're catching. They're not competing with the fishermen by any other fish. They're literally only targeting lionfish. Nice, good stuff. I'll put it right on ice. Growing up in Bermuda, born and raised here and diving all my life, I was a collector of specimens at the aquarium here. Well, the one year I showed up and there was a lionfish there and there weren't as many of the other fish. A couple of months later I went back, sure enough there's another lionfish there and there's even less juvenile fish on this little reef. So it was pretty obvious to me the damage they were causing early on. So then it became an idea of, okay, let's put this information out to the public. So we ended up coming up with this culling program, which ended up being the first culling program anywhere to deal with this invasive lionfish. We got another one there, those guys there. And they're super sharp, super sharp. Okay, first make sure they're dead. That's the scary part. He's still a little bit kicking, so maybe the other guy first. Yeah, grabbing in the bucket is always the scariest bit. So basically what we've got here is all these spines here carry the venom. The first one on those two, and then it's the first three on the anal there. So all the big spines would gauge. Every time I've been stung, it's usually by this one, because the fish has actually got some dexterity with it, so you can actually move it around like this. So on the reef, usually what you'll find is the lionfish sits there. As you come up to it, he'll lay his spines towards wherever you're going. So the venom gland goes down the spine and ends about right here or so. The venom is only in the spines. It's a protein-based venom as well. And the fact that what you can do is take the whole fish with the spines and everything and cook it all the way through. And the venom is denatured where you can just consume it, it's no problem. But we remove the spines just so it's easier for the restaurants and chefs to be able to deal with. So what we're gonna do right now, to make it safe for everybody, these side ones don't have any venom in them. There's no spine that can hurt you on those. We're just gonna cut those off to get them out of the way. Flip them over. So we had some of the meat from the lionfish sent away and tested, and it ended up being very high in omega-3 fatty acids and low in the heavy metals. It ends up being a very healthy choice as well. A greener than green choice. It's the one win-win in the fact that you can eat as many as you want and feel absolutely no guilt about eating them. That's where we came up with the slogan here, they eat them to beat them. So now this fish, you can treat it like any other fish. There's no spines, no venom. So what we're also gonna do is we're gonna cut the belly open and get the guts and gills out for those guys. There's the liver, and you can see the fat deposits on the liver. That's classic overfeeding problem. That mindset of eating as much as they can whenever they can. Every single lionfish we've cut open from the Atlantic has fatty liver disease. So to see that in wild animals shows that they're actually eating way more than they should be. See that? They are a little tricky. This is usually the time when people get stuck accidentally just trying to clean the fish because they are very spiky. The first time I got stung was here, and I was in 80 feet of water down in Bahamas, and I was sort of, checking my pulse. You don't know how it's going to affect you. And it was just sore and a lot of swelling. 2 days later, I got stung there. So my hand was like a catcher's mitt for baseball. But, after a couple of days, the swelling went down. It was a bit achy, but, nothing to be overly alarmed about. I've been stung over 11 times now, and it hurts. It hurts a lot. You get swelling and things like that. Basically, you're supposed to take as hot, warm water as you can to denature the venom so you don't get a full dose of the venom. It feels like a bad bee sting. The biggest fear for lionfish is literally what they're doing to the reef and the fact they're consuming all these fish and causing that damage. That's scarier. So this is how we end up typically presenting them to the restaurants. So all the spines are off, all the fins are off, it's been gut and gilled. It's just basically the fish and the meat. These fish are for Alfred at Wahoo's, so he should be happy with these. They're a nice sized fish. So we'll pack those back on ice, keep them nice. When we were first getting the lionfish, a lot of the restaurants saw it as a green choice, but were still skeptical because of the venom issue and all that. But as time's gone on, they've started to realize that it is a very delightful fish to eat. It's a good tasting fish. So the demand has become higher and higher for lionfish. They're not scared of it like they used to be. And people want it. It's a novelty, feel-good fish,
What you got for me?
He got some lionfish for you.
Oh, great. Oh, nice size too. Nice size, yeah. Put them on the menu tonight. So we're gonna have some fresh lionfish. You can see the fin is dark. This one has more red, like a coral in there. And you can see how big the mouth is. So unfortunately, he swallows a lot of small little fish. And we're gonna make 4 dishes today. One of them, the first one, is a lionfish ceviche. For the ceviche, we take the skin off. Well, it's a very firm fish, so it compares to like red hind or like a firmer fish. Since the lionfish only eats live fish, has a very nice and clean taste. So it's not a scavenger, so I love to work with that. The lime and the salt, that's what really cooks the fish. Some sea salt. Some nice strawberries from Florida. Some pink peppercorns. Then we add some of the cilantro. I think fruit adds a little bit to the flavor of the fish. Doesn't need much flavor, but it just makes it a little bit more exciting. Next, we're preparing the lionfish tempura, which we're using the wings of the fish, and I leave the skin on the fish and some lemon juice and my little seasoning salt, and I give it to my chef Gilbert, and he's gonna fry it out. The next one we do is our jerked lionfish tacos. I cut the lionfish into pieces, use some of the jerked seasoning, do it like on high heat, so it gives a little bit of smoky flavor. So we use some southwestern coleslaw, just coleslaw with some cilantro, black olives, carrots, red onions. Then we take our fish, and we have some pico de gallo, nice fresh tomatoes, some lime sour cream, and a touch of fresh cilantro. I mean, this is one of our best sellers at Wahoo's. And voilà, this is our jerked lionfish taco. Our next dish, lionfish in coconut and lemongrass and garlic.
The message with lionfish is that, be aware of your actions, and the fact that this all came from a couple of fish being released just because they didn't want to take it to another aquarium or dispose of the fish properly. Being aware of our human actions, but then also seeing this as an opportunity as well. We've got this great choice of fish to now hunt and take as many as we can. It's the one win-win in the fact that you can eat as many as you want and feel absolutely no guilt about eating them.